Okay, this video we're going to demonstrate App-Tronics new SmartVision rearview mirror, Dual Line DVR with backup camera and Bluetooth. You notice when the vehicle first starts on, you're going to have a splash screen which can be changed out to a manufacturing logo, a dealership logo, or an expediter or a retail location logo. Now in this video it's going to be kind of hard to see some of the icons, so you're going to have to we'll have to go by what we're describing and pointing those locations out. Now when the mirror first starts, it's going to automatically record. The automatic set to default is it's going to start recording the front camera only, and the rear camera can be set up to record only in reverse or set up to record at all times. We'll go through that in a moment. Now notice that the auto backlight is set at 5 seconds from factory. So as soon as the car starts, even though the screen's blank, that front and rear camera are going to be recording. So we're going to go in and shut off this 5-second auto backlight so we can show you the functions of the mirror. So you press any of these buttons to bring up the image. And down here left in the bottom middle, it's going to be recording in red. If it's counting, that means it's recording. And up in the top left corner, the video camera will be flashing. It's kind of hard to see in this video, but up in the top left corner, you'll see a video camera flashing between red and blue. So we're going to go ahead and stop the recording by pressing this button one time, second from left one time. And you'll notice the counter will stop and the camera will stay solid blue. We hold down this menu button, and it's going to take us into the menu selections. Now the first selection, I'm going to try to focus a little bit better on this. The first selection is MP, but we're going to go through those in a moment. What we're going to do is go right to the auto backlight and shut that off. Go to auto backlight, select, and right now it's set at 5 seconds. We're going to use the arrow buttons to go to off, hit the select button, which is the second button from left one time, and then hit menu and we'll go back out of this. So now the auto backlight is off, so the mirror will stay on. It's showing us the front camera. Now when you go to install this mirror, you have two options. You can have the rear camera record only in reverse, or set up to record at all times. Inside the installation manual, you'll see both ways to do this. You'll see the standard way where the rear camera records in reverse, or you can set up to record at all times. Each camera has 3 folders: standard for continuous driving, a locked folder in case the G sensor detects an impact, which we'll go over shortly, and then a third folder for still photos, so you can take still photos as you're driving, all by one touch. So right now we're going to show you, this is again the front camera, and if you press this last button one time, it will show the rear camera, which currently this display stand is not set up that way. It's set up to only record in reverse. So if we put it in reverse, it's going to show you that 5-inch 600-nit display screen. You can hear the optional parking sensors. It will give you distance and location to the object behind you by A, B, C, and D. And where it says stop, will give you the location to an object. This display stand has a verbal stop with the distance. Most of the parking sensors have a beeping stop. Okay, so now actually you can probably see this a little bit better. That's solid blue camera. You got the 1080p. You can switch up to 720. You have your Bluetooth logo, your SD card, and your battery life, which is always charging. You have your mic, your lock, your mute, your lock, your counter, and your date stamp. Okay, so you press this button again. Now that would be the rear camera if we had the rear camera set up on this display stand to record at all times. Press it again, it will be a split screen. So the front camera showing and the rear camera showing. Press it again, and it's a third and 2/3 shot. So this is nice if you're a tow truck, towing something, a large trailer. You can view the rear camera without having to go in reverse. So it's a nice feature to have. Press it again, we'll go back to the main full screen of the front camera that's recording. Alright, now that we have the video stopped, and again you do that as soon as the vehicle starts, you press this button one time and the recording will stop, because again it's set to auto record. So once that counter stops, you long press the middle button to bring up the menu selection. So we're going to go through this. You press the menu one time, it comes up, it's giving you the recording settings and some other settings. You press it again, it goes into a second menu, but we're going to start with the first menu. So now that it says MP, you select by touching the second button from left one time, and the MP is the recording if it's 1080p or 720. It's set from factory at 1080. Hit menu again, we'll go back and we'll go back to the main screen of menu, scroll down to RT, this is the recording time. Press the select button, which is the second button from left one time, and it's set at 1 minute. It can go to 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or off. And what this means is, as you're driving, each screenshot, or each record time is 1 minute long, and then it goes into another record time. If you want it to be continuous, you'd go to off. And why this is important is if you want to email footage or condense it, you can do it in 1 minute increments. On our website, if you go to the download page, you can actually download a GPS viewer for the SmartVision, which will allow you to watch it in a continuous format or watch each camera, front and rear. So it's a really nice option to have. So again, you go to our website, app-tronics.com, go to the download tab, and go to the SmartVision downloads, and there's a GPS viewer you can download, which will allow you to watch these footages a lot easier and also see it on Google Maps. So the record time's auto at 1 minute. Hit menu again. We'll scroll down to auto detect. Now auto detect, if you were to select this, you go in here, it's set to off. But if you have this camera hardwired in for your constant and your accessory both to be a constant, the mirror will turn on with motion, meaning that if you have it on, you'll see a little running man in the top left corner, and then when something goes in front of the camera, it will start automatically recording. So it's a nice feature to have if you're parked and you want the car to be safe and you want to record by motion. So again, it's set, auto detect is set to off from factory. Auto record, again, it is set to auto record. If you want that off, you can. But again, charging a video, if you're using an internal battery, it will record as long as the battery life is there. But again, the mirror is set to auto record. If you have it to off, you would have to manually start recording when you get in a vehicle by touching the button, second button from the left one time, and it'll start recording manually. But it is set to off when you first, it is set to on when you first get it. Hit menu again, we'll scroll down to G sensor. Now your G sensor, again, each camera has 3 folders, locked, normal, and photo taking. If the G sensor detects an impact, all that footage would go into that locked folder from being erased. Scroll down to the watermark. That's for your video feed or your video. Each video feed would be time stamped, date stamped. If you don't want that there, you would uncheck that watermark. It even gives you your speed. Audio, the SmartNav 5 does record everything. There's a mic on the bottom of the mirror that records everything that's being said inside the cab. If you want to shut that off, you can. You go to auto, hit the select button, second button from left one time, and scroll down and change it to off. Hit menu again, scroll down. Parking monitor, this is for your parking sensors, which when you go in reverse, it shows you the distance and location. It is set to factory on, so it will work automatically, but if you don't want them, that's where you change that setting. After camera system, this is for installers. Most cameras, we're going to go ahead and select this. Most cameras in the US are NTCS verified rear cameras. There is another camera out there called PAL. If you installed a camera and you're not getting a very clear image, it could be that the camera you're using is not an NTCS but a PAL, and that's where you'd switch this to PAL. So again, if you're having a rear camera issue and you're not getting a clear image, you might want to try switching this this function here. Okay, so those are all the settings for the recording. We're going to hit menu again, and now this is a setting for the display and some other features and functions like formatting and auto backlight. So your brightness, you can set the brightness here. Hit select. It's set to auto, but you can do sunlight, fluorescent, cloudy, incandescent. So depending where you are regionally, you might want to change this setting from the desert to Seattle, but the auto selection should self-do this for you. But if you want to be more specific, you can. Hit menu again. Your exposure time, it's set to 0. Just leave it at that. Your color, if you want to change the color, you can do that here, but again, it's pretty much set the way you're going to need it to be. Your language. Now this is important. If you do a hard reset on the mirror or do a default setting, your language may change. So you want to find that L, select it by touching the second button from left one time and scroll down to English, select it by hitting the second button from left one time and hit menu, and it'll be back in English. Your frequency, you got 60 or 50. I think it's set at 60, so you can leave that alone. Your button voice, just leave that on. That's for your Bluetooth calling. Your shutdown time. Now this is an important feature. If you got in your mirror and you notice that the mirror is shutting down automatically, like after a minute or 2 or 3, then somehow, some way, your shutdown time was changed. So if you select this, it's set to off. But if you notice that the mirror is shutting off automatically, then I would go in here and check to see if someone had changed that setting. Again, it's set to off, but this is if you hardwired in that the constant and accessory are both going to constant, and you want this to record, let's say while you're parked or somewhere, you would go into shutdown time where the mirror would automatically record at all times. So a lot of people do use this feature. So again, you would have to shut down the mirror manually or go in here and let it shut down automatically by itself. So it's a really nice feature to have. Again, there's a lot of features on this mirror, but again, from factory, it's going to give you everything you need. So, but if you want to be more specific, here's one of those features. Hit menu again. Auto backlight. Now, I just showed you this earlier. We changed that to off so I could show you the functions on the mirror. It is set to 5 seconds, but if you wanted it to stay on longer, you can set it for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or off. Now, most people may be buying this for rear camera use only, and just having that added DVR is huge, especially now here in the U.S. Most law enforcement doesn't do a report unless someone's hurt or there's $7,500 worth of damage, some areas 5. But DVR is very important to have, so if you're just looking to have a backup camera at this price point of $299.99, the SmartVision is a great option to have, knowing that you're always protected. It's hidden. No one needs to know it's there. It's there if you need it. But your auto backlight will come from factory to 5 seconds off. So as soon as you start the car, it's going to flash the logo, show you that it's recording, and then go blank. When you put the car in reverse, the image will still come up. Hit menu again. GPS correction time, not a big deal. The GPS antenna will do that automatically. Your time zone selection, don't need to worry about that. Your date settings, you might want to check those depending on the footage. If you look down here in the bottom right, if the date isn't correct, you can go in there and change that. You're formatting your card. So let's say each camera again has 3 folders: locked for the G sensor in case there's an impact. It will save that footage from being erased, normal continuous driving, and then photographs. If you're in a car and you want to format this card and delete everything for some reason, you can do that. Go here, format the card, and it will erase all the footage on the card completely. System info, that's just for us. If you call the 800 number, which is 888-587-4111, we might ask to see that. Default settings. Now this, if somehow something got messed up and it's not running the way you want because you just went in there and started messing with things, you didn't quite understand it, you'd go here to default settings, set it to default. But if the language has changed, then you want to find that L that we discussed and change it back to English. But again, the system comes set up for the most easy use, knowing that it's recording for you and your family's safety. You have that Bluetooth hands-free calling and the DVR recording. Okay, so those are all those settings. So we kind of went through everything there. On the mirror, you have your. It's going to show you up here in the top left corner that we're on the video camera recording. Kind of hard to see here. If you press menu while it stopped recording just one time, it's going to go to the camera function. In the top left corner, there'll be a picture of a camera. Here, by touching the second button from left one time, you can actually take a photograph while driving. If you change it to the rear camera, you can do the same thing. So if you want to get someone's license plate or something like that to be more specific, instead of going through your recordings, you can take a still photo. You press menu again, and this is going to take you to the DVR playback, where you can actually play back footage on the mirror. You would hit the down and arrow buttons to select the footage, and then hit the second button from left one time to start playing back that footage. Right now there's 69 recordings on here, but it's all going to be just what's in front of me, so it really wouldn't be anything I can show you. Hit menu again, it's going to take you back to the recording, or the actual video screen. And again, by pressing the last button from the right one time, this is the rear camera footage. If we had set up the mirror to record at all times, right now it would be showing us the rear camera, which is important for trailer use and tow truck driving. Press it again, split screen. It will show the front and rear camera. Press it again, you have that third and 2/3 shot. The Bluetooth calling is really a nice feature. So once the vehicle starts, you'll notice that the Bluetooth up there will be flashing. Again, it's kind of hard to see on this mirror, on this footage, but up in the top right corner you'll see that Bluetooth logo. So once you open up your iPhone or your Android phone or your smartphone, go to the Bluetooth settings, look for BW_A, that would be the mirror, or it might be NW_A or something along those lines. Select it, and then once the mirror asks for the PIN code, it's 40000. If a call comes in, you can decline the call by pressing the menu button, the middle button one time. It'll put them right in the voicemail. If you want to answer the call, you press the up arrow. If you want to hang up the call, you press the up arrow. That's simple. You have the 2 dual speakers, so it's always going to give you a clear voice recognition from the person on the other end. The mic, again, is on the bottom of the mirror. You don't need to wire a separate mic. Everything's contained inside the mirror. The SD card logo, that will make sure that you know that the SD card is there and that it is recording. And then you have a mute. If you wanted to stop the actual audible, you can do that by pressing this button one time on the end, and it will lock that mute out. So you know it's not recording audibly. It's just a quick way to get to that. If you have any questions, you can call us again at 888-587-4111 or go to our website at app-tronics.com. We do have a great warranty on the system when installed by an authorized dealer. You can ask them or call us for more information on that. We do have mounts for every vehicle out there. There hasn't been a vehicle that we haven't been able to fit yet. And again, to go over the rear camera recording. Standard wise, there's inside the manual, we have two ways to install it. The rear camera will record only in reverse, or you can have it record at all times. So the manual will go over those two options. If you have it set to record at all times, then you can view the rear camera as well while driving, backing up, stuff like, not backing up, I'm sorry, viewing it while you're in drive. So if you want to see a car behind you, or you're doing a trailer or a tow truck, you can view that camera. Other than that, you're going to see that the functions of DVR are very important. And what's nice about it, everything's hidden. No one needs to know that this is a DVR recorder. The camera is very small in the back of the mirror, so no one's ever going to see it. The rear camera just looks like a standard rear camera that can be set up to record. So again, any questions, 888-587-4111, or go to app-tronics.com or email us at info@apptronics.com.